Today on Steelers Talk, I'm giving my official prediction for the Steelers' 53-man roster for Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. All 53 players, I believe, will be on the active roster when the Steelers line up Week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons there in Atlanta. But before we get going here on today's show, we're almost there, folks. All right, we're just like 50 subscribers away from passing the Chiefs report. So if you can do me a favor right now, click that subscribe button. Help us pass the Chiefs report, move up the power rankings here at Chat Sports. I would greatly appreciate it. New viewers, we're definitely counting on you guys because, the people that are already subscribed can't help us out here. So if this is your first time watching a Steelers Talk video, if this is your second time, whatever the case may be, make sure you click that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate all of your guys' support. We're also going live. Make sure you subscribe to never miss our live shows every single Wednesday and every single Friday. This week here, we're going live Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursday as well, 2 straight days in a row. Everybody here at Chat Sports is off on Friday, so we're going to be doing our second, or actually third, now with the Brandon Ayuk stream on Thursday. So make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss a Steelers Talk live show heading into the season. Okay, now, before we get into this roster projection, I want you guys to remember that Cam Sutton, the cornerback here, is going to be suspended for Week 1. So he is not going to be on this roster projection today. He will join the roster Week 9 on the bye week, and then he'll have his first game Week 10 against the Commanders on the road. But for Week 1, he will not be on the roster because he is serving that 8-game suspension. So first up here, let's get into the offense here. And I think that there's a lot of interesting position groups and lots of interesting position battles. So let's start out with the most important position, quarterbacks. And I do think they will carry 3, and they will carry Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen. Okay? And the reason why I have Kyle Allen, not the undrafted free agent John Rice Plumlee, is because Kyle is actually a pretty decent backup quarterback. He has experience in the National Football League with a bunch of different systems. And he's actually played, not terribly throughout his career. He's not a starter by any means. He's definitely a backup. But as far as third-string quarterbacks go, Kyle Allen is pretty darn good. And while John Rice Plumlee is fun, and, lots of people compare him to Taysom Hill, unless he's really, really special in the preseason, I think he is likely to get cut because, like the gadget player on this offense, they already have one in Justin Fields, right? So if you're going to be doing Taysom Hill stuff, they're going to give that work to Justin Fields. So it doesn't really make sense to carry John Rice Plumlee unless he really balls out and outperforms Kyle Allen in preseason, and I just don't see that happening. So I do think they'll carry Allen, and maybe they'll put Plumlee on the practice squad. So who's going to be your QB3? Let me know. Predict it for me down there in the comments section. Type KA if you think Kyle Allen wins that number 3 quarterback job, or type JP if you think John Rice Plumlee earns that spot on the 53-man roster. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. In just a second, YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. All right, so running backs here, we've got, I got Jaylen Warren, I've got Najee Harris, and I've got Cordero Patterson. Now, Patterson is going to be more of a backup running back / special team specialist, and Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris will be the main guys in the rotation here. They're going to be trading blows, so to speak, and if somebody gets hurt, then they might have some guys on the practice squad that they can elevate in that situation, but I think this team is only going to carry 3 running backs. Then we get to the wide receivers here. George Pickens, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, and then Scotty Miller. These are the 6 guys that I believe bring the most value. They are the best overall players, and I do think they carry 6 receivers this year. If they trade for Brandon Ayuk or something like that, obviously the math changes. I would probably say Scotty Miller would be the guy, maybe the odd man out there, but I guess we'll have to see if any of these receivers are included in an Ayuk trade as well. So as right now, with the way it's currently constructed, this is what I think will be the wide receiver room heading into the year. Then the tight ends here, I think they're actually going to carry 4. This is an offense that's going to use some fullback, and they're going to have 2 and 3 tight end sets. Okay, so Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, who I think will get a little bit of work as a fullback this year, as well as at tight end. And then Michael Pruitt. I'm seeing a lot of people project Pruitt as somebody that's going to get cut, but he's one of Arthur Smith's guys, man. He loves Michael Pruitt. He's followed him from Tennessee to Atlanta. And I think that he's going to end up making the final roster because they're going to use a lot of these tight ends on game days this year. The interior of the offensive line, Isaac Seumalo, James Daniels, and Zach Frazier, I expect to be the starting three interior guys, and then Mason McCormick and Nate Herbig will be your backups on the interior. Then at offensive tackle, I think they carry four: Broderick Jones, Troy Fautano, Dan Moore Jr., and Dylan Cook. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who's the starting right tackle between Fautano and Dan Moore Jr. Cook will be somebody that can play either tackle or guard. He's going to be a little bit of depth in that way, but he's going to be one of the last people to make the final 53. Now, coming up here on Steelers Talk, the defensive roster, led, of course, by defensive coordinator Teryl Austin. But before we get into that, man, I can't wait to get to Latrobe with Cassie, watching some Steelers football live with you guys. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon if you are pumped for Steelers training camp this season. Edge rushers here. I think they carry four: TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and David Perales, who they brought in last year. He was a practice squad player. He's had a pretty decent spring. And because the Steelers haven't brought in that fourth kind of edge rusher type in free agency, I think they believe in Perales to get this job done and be that fourth edge rusher this year. This is one of the best edge rusher rooms in football, especially at the top three. Then the starting defensive tackles, I think Cam Hayward will be the starting three technique. Keanu Benson will be the starting nose tackle over the football. And then we get Larry Ogunjobi, who'll be playing that 3-4 defensive end position. The five technique in this 3-4 system that Teryl Austin and Mike Tomlin run. Then the depth defensive tackles here, Montravius Adams is the backup nose tackle. Isaiah Loudermilk, I think, will be kind of playing that Armin Watts type of role at backup three technique. And then Dean Lowry and then rookie Logan Lee will round out the rest of that position. Then we get to the inside linebackers. I think Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts will get a majority of the work. Peyton Wilson, the rookie out of NC State, will come in as kind of a coverage linebacker on obvious passing situations. Plus, you can give Landon Roberts a little bit of a breather from time to time. And then Cole Holcomb, I think, he's going to get on the field. Once he gets back healthy, he's going to have his opportunity. But I do think he makes the roster, but I think he's going to be more of a rotational piece, especially if Peyton Wilson continues to play as well as he has been playing. Then the cornerback room, I have them carrying six: Joey Porter Jr., Dante Jackson, Graylin Arnold, who can play either slot corner or safety, Beanie Bishop Jr., the undrafted free agent out of West Virginia. He's been impressive. And then Darius Rush and Corey Trice Jr., I have them both making the final 53. Then at safety, Minka Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, DeMonte KZ, and then the special teams specialist and team captain, Miles Killebrew. Again, Graylin Arnold, if needed, can play safety. So that's kind of a nice dual role for him in this defense. Then on special teams, Chris Boswell, Cameron Johnston, the new punter, and then Christian Kuntz, of course, the long snapper, round out the rest of the roster. So in terms of the guys that I think are going to get waived, but I think are going to be practice squad priorities for the Steelers this season, Spencer Anderson, draft pick last year. I think that the depth speaks for itself on this offensive line. Not sure how much room there is for him anymore. John Rice Plumlee at quarterback, if they can keep him and try to see if he can develop on the P squad, I think they'd like to do that. Des Fitzpatrick has been a P squad guy before on this team. Marquez Callaway can certainly provide some value on the P squad as somebody with experience. Dajan Edwards, the undrafted free agent out of Georgia, he's probably the guy I would want to step in for either Najee Harris or Jaylen Warren if they end up getting hurt. Rodney Williams was a P squad guy last year. I think he lands on there again this year. Steelers like him a lot. Then on defense, DeMarvin Leal. Let's face it, man, this is a big training camp for him. I mean, he's at the point in his career where he can't bank on his potential anymore. He's got to show something. If he doesn't, he's going to end up being waived in favor of guys like Dean Lowry and Logan Lee. Brandon Fajoku, the nose tackle, I like him a lot. I like his energy. I like his tenacity. I love him on the pre-squad again. Mark Robinson, let's face it, he's undersized. When he's had opportunities to play, he's been bullied out on the field, especially in the run game. Jalen Elliott, a guy with a little bit of experience I'd like on the P-squad at safety. Ryan Watts, I think, needs to develop a little bit. I think his time may come, but I think they might put him on the P-squad. He'll be one of the first people off the roster. And then Josiah Scott, he got most of the first-team reps at slot corner during OTAs, but honestly, I think Graylin Arnold and Beanie Bishop Jr. are better players. And I think they'll show that during the training camp and preseason periods. And I think Scott will be the odd man out. So let me know down there in the comments section, who is going to be a surprise Steelers player that gets cut this year or waived, right? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is it DeMarvin Leal? Is it John Rice Plumlee? Is it somebody else? Let me know down there in the comments section which surprise Steelers player won't make the final 53. That'll be it for today's edition of Steelers Talk, guys. We got more Steelers coverage coming your way as we approach Steelers training camp. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we're going to be going live for every single preseason game, every single regular season game, every single postseason game. We got daily coverage here for free on the channel. So if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the place for you. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now.